welcome to the new trucking standard brought to you by the Federation of Professional Truckers. We're here to rebuild the industry from the driver's seat through real talk, shared stories, and straight up education. Glad to have you rolling with us. Now let's hammer down. All right. Hello. I think it's going. All right. Let's see here.
What's going on?
Pick my buddies up and hit the fishing hole. Icicle her down and get a sixer cold. And get to knocking back them natty lights. Seems like lately I've been working like a dog. Ain't had a day off in too long, so I'm calling that boss. He can have that job. Yeah, I've been working hard. You can't say I'm hardly working. I ain't lazy. I just wanna party, baby, going crazy, saying I don't wanna do shit today. Quit my 9 to 5. I'm hitting the lake. They tell me slow it down. I ain't hitting the brakes. People raising hell about the hell I raised. I don't wanna do shit today. Ride around town in my Chevrolet, shooting stop signs with my 12 gauge. People raising hell about the hell I raised. But a good old boy's just a good old boy, and you can take him out and he's still country. Never gonna quit doing country shit. You ain't ready as this, never will touch me. Bounce on the wall, they're racking the hall. Whipping all black Hellcat truck, bird dogs in the back. What's up? Don't get more redneck than that. Couldn't be more Georgia than this. Fishing hook on the bill of my hat. I don't wanna do much but fish. Yeah, I've been working hard. You can't say I'm hardly working. I ain't lazy. I just wanna party, baby, going crazy, saying I don't wanna do shit today. Quit my 9 to 5. I'm hitting the lake. They tell me slow it down. I ain't hitting the brakes. People raising hell about the hell I raised. I don't wanna do shit.
What's up with everybody? Just trying to get everything started here, so had a little bit of technical difficulties earlier, so.
People raising hell about the hell I raised. I don't wanna do shit today. Quit my 9 to 5. I'm hitting the lake. They tell me slow it down. I ain't hitting the brakes. People raising hell about the hell I raised. I don't wanna do shit today. Ride around town in my Chevrolet.
Are you serious?
Signs with my
What is going on with my YouTube?
raising hell about the hell I raised.
Thank God for Friday, I think I might have died. If I spent another day working for the suit and tie, we put our 40 in and they finally let us free to head down to the pub where everybody sings. Hey, hey, just give me something cold, raise it up tonight until tonight's tomorrow.
Somebody, I believe, tried to hack into our,
Get me drunk, drink. Hey,
call it, what? Man.
pour a pint again, it's just to chase
Trying to hack our email and stuff earlier today. So, yeah. Fun times for me.
something that'll get the job done from the bottom of the glass to the top of your lungs.
Picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for rally. I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, hey,
everybody hear me? Oh, Lord, what's my computer doing now? Yeah, thanks, BJ. Thanks.
North country winners keep getting me down. Lost my money playing poker, so I had to leave town. But I ain't turning back to living that old life no more.
Good deal. All right, who wants to come up with the boxes?
Me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain.
At least
Like a southbound
my connection back. That's good. Yeehaw for that. Let's see here. Man, this thing is bright as hell tonight for some reason. Oh, man. Yes, sir. That's the nice audio mixer that I have. It makes my life a little easier here. Let's see here.
walking to the south out of Roanoke. I caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long talk. But he's headed west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City,
Tennessee.
Gotta move on before the sun. I hear my baby calling my
The
name.
only bad thing about it is YouTube doesn't like the music. Everybody else does.
So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Oh, rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, I wanna feel. Hey, mama, rock me, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain.
All right. I do believe we have everything up and going here. Let me just double check all this. I just got a crap ton of notifications here.
Trying to outrun my mind, reminding myself of everything I leave behind. But the bottle keeps selling me lies, and I'd buy anything to get that high. I hope God takes mercy on my soul, 'cause I don't wanna let go. I'm putting on fake smiles for everyone but me, 'cause I just can't stand to see my mama crying, 'cause she can see me dying, and I keep trying to talk to Jesus.
All right. All right. Well, I think we are. I think we're live over on the YouTube as well here.
Took
Okay.
my first breath
Good deal.
where the muddy grasses
Good deal.
Mexico, the skyline's colored by chemical plants to put bread on the table of the working man, where the working man does his best to provide
quick.
shelter for kids and a wife. Giving a little of a soul every day, making overtime to keep the wolves.
Here we go. We're already starting to have other issues. Goodness gracious. Here we go. We're already starting to have other issues. Goodness gracious. Here we go. Not what I'm wanting to deal with today. Well, okay, here we go. Here we go. What do we got going on here? All right. Well, I think at this point I'm just going to shut this thing off because this just isn't working for me right now today. Good to know. Good to know. Anybody wants to hop up in the box, talk, whatever. We're just going to be talking trucking again tonight. Whatever topics come up is what comes up. So, I know Audrey had talked about coming on and talking with us, so on and so forth. So, let her know we're up. Let's see where everybody's at tonight. Well, and apparently we're having all kinds of, I don't know why this won't go. Maybe it will go. There it's going. Good deal. Oh. All right. Wow, man. You gotta love these technical difficulties, I'm telling you.
Took my first breath where the muddy rises, spills into the Gulf of Mexico, where the skyline's colored by chemical plants to put bread on the table of the world.
What's up, brother?
Where the working man does his best to provide safety and shelter for kids and a wife.
Oh, Lord, what's going on now? This headset ain't on. Like, come on.
The wolves away.
There we go. Hey, there we go. I think we're rolling. I think I can hear you now. I was wondering why I was having troubles hearing. Freaking headset wasn't connected.
You're coming in a lot clearer than you were last night. That's for darn sure.
Well, I don't know what happened with that, man, last night. Of course, today I had technical difficulties. So I got an email that said that, somebody had changed the password on the Gmail for a business. And, I'm like, what? So.
I don't know how that's possible because nobody changed any passwords.
Well, I had to.
Darn sure.
No, I'm just saying, I got an email here. What was it? I'll pull it up here. The funny part about it was I was loading firewood when it happened. And I'm like, what? Yeah, where's it at here? That was recovered. Is this it? Yeah, 13:38. So 1:38 today Eastern time. So I got an email that says your password was changed. or we the FOPT. And I'm like, do what? So hurried up, went in there, had to mess with all that. But then I've been messing with it, trying to get into, you know, YouTube and all that stuff, fun stuff, blah, 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 you know. So good times, good times.
Yeah, I'll
So-
trade you. I got nothing but idiots that are on the road that should be parking it in their bunk.
Well, you know, that's one of those things, bro. You know, we struggle with that one out here. You know that, though. You know, that's
You know, listen, you and I had this discussion. You know, I'm not afraid of snow. I'm not afraid of ice. I'm called the Northwind. There's a reason for that. This stuff don't scare me. I know how to handle it. I know how to drive on it. Where most people are doing 30, I'm doing 60 because I know how to handle a brake on this stuff. I've done it for my whole life. I was
Right.
raised in snow and ice, so you learn quick how to handle a trailer. But you got guys out here on, you know, the left lane is snow covered, the right lane is, you know, free to go. They're playing in the left lane at 35 miles an hour, fishtailing all over the place when they should be in the right lane. I go to pass, you know, to try to get past them, and they'll immediately jump over because they see what they're doing wrong. So they jump over. Of course, I'm doing 65 and they're doing 30. It's like, okay, buckwheat, mirrors, man, mirrors. You see that big truck behind you coming up with all the lights on it? That's moving twice as fast as you. You don't jump out in front of them on a bad road, man.
Wow. Well, it looked like you were messing around up in South Dakota or something around 29 or something. You should be about out of the snow then, huh?
Oh, shit, I'm down. I'm at the 60 mile marker going south. I'm still in it. Roads are actually worse down here. Well, they're not great. You got tire lanes, if you know what I'm talking about when I say tire lanes.
Right.
Just tire lanes. That's all you got now. It's like they never touched it, they never salted it, they never sanded it. And this is major highway. I'm going, yeah, okay. I'm good. Just stay out of my way. Everybody else go home.
Right.
And a lot of people are. You know, I stopped in twice to get coffee. A lot of the men and women aren't taking any risk. They're parked. Then you got the guys that are out here, you know, when you drive by them, you look at them and they're white knuckling the steering wheel going, and I'm looking at them going, why are you out here, dude? And I'm literally driving down the road, drinking a cup of coffee, smoking a cigarette, got total control of my truck. Happy and content, man. I'm like Santa Claus. I love the snow.
Yeah, we know you have problems, you know.
Yeah, well, nobody says I was.
You've heard me
mentally
say,
all
brother,
there.
when it gets below my age of 46, when that degree mark says 45, I'm in the wrong area. I am in the wrong area. It's time to go, you know, we got to go somewhere where it's warmer. I'm not messing around with
bro,
that.
I'm not kidding you. Last night I hit the back roads were bad, and I was cutting using a couple of the U.S. roads and a couple of cutoffs, and I've got a picture from last night. You really couldn't tell where the ditches were. You couldn't tell where the road was. You were going by rumble strips. You hit a rumble strip on your right, you moved it. You know you moved to the left a little, you hit it on the left, you know you went too far.
Right.
I finally pulled over, but when I pulled over, no joke, I turned the heat down to 1, and the bunk had no heat. I slept like a baby. I woke up this morning, it was 32 degrees in the truck. Happy and content, man.
No. I mean, I like to sleep when it's cold, but that's just a little bit too cold.
32 degrees. I had half my body out from underneath the blanket, and I actually woke up sweating, thinking I left the heat on.
What are you going through, hot flashes or something in your old age?
I have been like that since I was 5 years old, man.
Yeah,
Cold
that
does not faze me.
I like to sleep with it cold, but that 32 degrees, that's just a little too much for me. I
Oh,
can't.
dude, I slept like a baby.
Yeah,
Woke up 32 degrees inside the truck this morning.
must be nice. Yeah, I can't mess with all that. Phew. Yeah.
Oh,
So
see,
what
I'm not
we
the
want to
only
talk
one.
about?
I'm not the only one.
Oh, I know
Who's
this.
that?
I see
Mine?
this Spinella 1976 down there. Yeah,
see?
yeah, same
see?
way here.
They're the
Yeah.
Same way, man.
Yeah, you know
32
what?
degrees.
Hats off to y'all. Hats off to y'all. I give you it. You know, whatever. That's just yes. I'm
Don't get me wrong.
46.
Don't get
When
me
it's
wrong. the
below
truck
45, we ain't messing with it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The truck was idling because we had heavy snow, and I was,
Right.
you know, the rest area only had like a lane and a half plowed in it. And a small little rinky-dink thing, and I wasn't taking a chance to get somebody sliding in there and taking my truck out, so I left it running so I leave the lights on. But there was no heat going. And I had both the driver passenger side window cracked open, and I had my back window at my feet open. I was happy as I can be, man.
Well, you know, hey, if that's what it takes to sleep nice, I guess sleep. Do your thing, big dog. That's all I can say. I can't mess with that though. That's just whew.
Well, some people, some people that can do it. My wife tells me I'm like a freaking blast furnace. She can only lay next to me for about 5 minutes, and then she gets too hot, and she's got to kick me away. And I've been told that more times than I can count.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm sweating right now. It's 65 degrees in the truck, and I'm not kidding you. I fucking feel like I feel like I'm in Miami, Florida in the summertime inside my truck. It's killing me.
Well, you know, that's one of those things. You know, I mean, I don't know. You were driving last night, though, I think, with the freaking window down or whatever, weren't you? Something like that, because you was trying to keep the window
I still
from.
got it down, dude. It is
you know.
17 degrees outside, 17, and I've got the window down.
I know we seen 20 last night here, so we went ahead and fired up the blast furnace instead of running the irregular furnace. So that's why we decided to start loading up the basement with the wood and stuff like that, because it looks like maybe the cold is going to finally set in here for us. So I don't know. We'll see.
Doing wood, or are you doing wood?
Yeah. No, it's wood. So it's split wood. We
Gotcha.
when I went through and did what I did here at this place, and we took it all the way down to the sticks and everything like that, it had a fuel oil boiler in it from like the 1950s, if I remember
I
right.
got you.
And we pulled that out, and we had a LP air handler and air conditioner installed because it didn't have central air, so we had all the ductwork and stuff brought up. And then
Right.
I went through and so that we could actually heat with wood instead of burning up all the propane, because propane's pretty expensive, and that price. Yeah, we shop around and try to keep it the best we can, and you know, shout out to Champion Propane here in the Ohio Midwest Central area on their pricing and the contract they gave for us, but you know, still it's, you know, pretty expensive. So we've got a blast furnace down there that we run with wood, and it's tied into the ductwork, the existing ductworks, with two 12-inch trunks, and it's tied into the regular cold air return with everything else, and there you go, you know. And once we fire, the only bad part about that thing is when that dude finally does get fired up, if it does you have a warmer day to where that it's staying up in like the 40s or something like that, it is tough to stay inside the house and keep that thing going, because it just produces such good radiant heat that not only does it blow, but it's radiating in the basement. So then all that heat eventually comes up through the floors and stuff. And if you're not careful, you'll have it 85, 90 degrees inside the house, you know?
Oh, good gracious, man.
Yeah.
I would walk into that house and die.
Oh,
You ever
trust
see
me.
that old? You ever see the old freaking Frosty the Snowman, like the
Yes.
1970s one, where he goes into the freaking greenhouse and that's it. He's gone.
Yeah.
That's me. That's
Oh.
it. I would literally be a puddle on the floor.
When we first, I think it was it was either the first or second winter when we were in this place. Bobby goes through, and I was at work, and I was running local, and so I've got my extreme Carhartt bibs and jacket on and stuff, and had been at work and stuff, and I come home, and she's sitting there at the dining room table, just smiling away, and just happy as can be. And as soon as I opened up the door to walk in, I mean, the heat just hit me in the face like it was and I was just like, whoa. I'm like, how fucking hot is it in here? And she was like, I don't know. It feels really good to me, because she's cold all the time. Even in the summertime, sometimes she's cold.
Yeah,
so, I go over and I look at the thermostat, and it's like 87 degrees. Not that it's set on 87, but the blast furnace has been just rocking and rolling, dude. And I mean, it's just going and going and going. And I'm like, oh my Lord. I stripped down to basically just a pair of shorts, and open up the windows in the house. I'm like, this unfortunately, we've got to lose some of this heat. Yeah, because, oh my God, it was just too much for me. So,
dude, I can walk into my house and the thermostat's set at 72, which for most of my family is comfortable. And I can look at that thing and do it. And where you walked into 90, 89, 85, 90, I can walk into my house at 72 and go, oh, no. This ain't happening. I'll crank that sucker down between 65 and 68.
Oh, yeah, no, I like to keep our house somewhere around 67, 68 degrees. That's where I like to keep it at year round.
Right.
Bobby would prefer it a little warmer. I like to be able to sleep with it, So what we will do is on the warmer ones where she's trying to keep it warmer, we'll open up the bedroom window or something to let that colder air in for me. Because otherwise, man, I just can't deal with it. I can't sleep when it's hot, Hell, even at the 66, that will turn it down to, I'll have to still. It'll only be a sheet that's covering me. The ceiling fan's going, everything, So, yep.
Yeah, that's me.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I like to keep it cranked, keep it cold. Well, when I sleep. But, I think my definition of cold and your definition of cold are just two different definitions on good sleeping weather.
My definition of cold, listen, brother man, my definition of cold is minus 30. That's cold. If it's minus 5, minus 10, dude, I got out of the truck today. I had an issue because the leveling valve on the truck froze up, and it wasn't lifting off the drives.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even realize it until I was going down the road. I happened to look over, and my suspension load was like at 15 with a full load up. And then I got off the fuel pedal, and I heard the fucking transmission grind, and I went, oh, crap. And I'm sitting there going, okay, maybe the arm got to come off or whatever the case may be, got under there. Dude, I was in a T-shirt and my jeans laid right in the snow. Not a care in the world. Trying to figure out what was going on, and by the time I realized, it was 15 minutes later, I checked everything. Ran isopropyl alcohol through the blue line, the red line, twice over. Went, okay, this is just, I said, I've had it. That's it. Took it over to frickin' Petro, took it to the Blue Beacon, parked it, shut it off. I said, just take your time. Don't care what it costs me. Wash it all. If it'll take you 45 minutes, I don't care. And finally, it was warm enough in the bay that it pushed the ice through the frickin' line and lifted the axle. I'm going, yep, there it is.
Well, the
right
warmer water,
I didn't have any warm water. All I had was, the dog water, and the dog water sitting in the junk box, man. That's probably minus 10 or frozen.
Right.
So it was like, yeah.
I mean, I know you drain your tanks on the daily. Have you noticed any extra moisture building up in your tanks or anything like that?
No, I have what I did find. I had to get fixed today. I had a hole in the rear airbag on the trailer. So last night, I think, when I parked it last night, it didn't drain the moisture from the line. And as soon as we got the airbag replaced, as soon as the fuckers, listen, dude, you're on fucking sheer blacktop. There's no reason to drive 25 miles an hour on the interstate. Go to bed.
Yeah, that's where
Holy
a lot
crap.
of them they need to. So they got your
They
airbag
need to
fixed.
go.
Though once they get the airbag fixed, you were
Yeah,
ready to go.
once they got the airbag fixed, and once we had, once it warmed up and pushed that ice through, you can hear the air dryer. It was just going constantly for about 15 minutes. And of course, while I was in the bay, I threw them a quick 20 and drained the air tanks completely on the truck and the trailer. So we pulled out of there. It pretty much fixed everything. But
Oh, that's
I
good.
mean,
You know.
I was laying right in the snow. Didn't even faze me. Got in the truck, pants full of snow, sat down, drove to the shop. I actually was more comfortable being cold than I was with the heat on in the truck. Telling you, man. Sheila keeps telling me you should have went with Snowman. I said, well, Snowman's been taken for like 40 years. It's not like I can, I wouldn't be the originator.
Oh, but there's still people that like to copy people. We know that.
Yeah, I'm not the copy kind of guy.
I know. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? So that's one of those things. They like to play that game.
Did want to jump on here because last night I got almost to where I was parked. Even with the roads as bad as it was, I saw I had reception, jumped in real quick. And you and Cisco were touching on Nadra a little bit last night. I didn't catch a lot of it, so I have no clue what you guys were actually talking about. Because once I got in and realized how bad the roads were, I had to shut the light off.
We were just kind of talking a little bit about my past and stuff, and just talking about like what being involved in the different trucking groups and stuff like that. Nothing really. There was nothing really about Nadra itself. It was more just like kind of like talking about my past and what I've helped out do with that stuff back there with Nadra, where I would send you guys different ideas I had or whatever, but that I was never part of the 20-person round table or anything like that. So
well, I want to explain why I designed Nadra the way I did. I know that one of our founders, the second one, I started the bowl. We got Jason Benden who got involved with me. And then, of course, we brought in Claiborne later. I would say about a month and a half, maybe even 2 months later after Ben and I actually started realizing we can actually start something and get something accomplished. Why the round table was designed the way it was. And I think we have a piece of that. A lot of that is in the group that we're building now. I designed it that way to create a table full of experienced truck drivers who I believed at the time felt the same way I did about the industry. Did I vet them properly? Probably not. I went by their experience on the road, what they did, and how long they've been doing it. Listened to a couple of their videos. Didn't really dive deep. Not like I should have, I guess. The roundtable was designed for an equal platform for experienced truck drivers to put an end to the shenanigans that were going on.
Right.
And we were making some big noise. I mean, you remember it. We were making some big noise.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of noise made,
I-
and it just all up abruptly stopped. Yeah, which we
Well,
talked
it-
about
it-
that whole bullshit that went down. But yeah,
Well, you and I had a personal conversation. I wanna get this out because I am here and I'm not going anywhere. But a lot of that blame was placed on my shoulders when it all internally combusted. The reason I want to bring it out here is if anybody's in here listening and anybody remembers that and puts my name to Nadra and then coincides with here, I want it clear. I want it laid out. That and the fact that you've got a recording here and this can be used later down the road, however it needs to be used. It don't really matter to me. I had a vision of I called it the round table. But what it was an experienced council of equal grounds of truck drivers that had real experience out here. Not,
Right.
1 year, not 5 years. Now we had a couple of new guys in there that only had 5, and I think one had 5 or 6, and I think the other one had around 10. But most of them in there were 10, 15, 20, 25-year veterans or longer. And most of them in there had been out here quite some time. And my belief was,
right.
if we do this right and we don't get into the money side, because money corrupts. You know that, I know that, we've had this conversation. Money corrupts. We stay away from the money side and just bring the trucking community together, we can make real change. And when we were doing that, anybody that, I was in communication with the Cuban truckers, I was in communication with the Hispanic side, I was in communication with, I believe I had 1 or 2 of the Russians that I was talking to at the time. We were making real headway. We had a truck driver from Canada that was on the, inside that group where we were getting feedback from them. We had 1 or 2, I think one that was Hispanic that was keeping up with the Mexican, below the Mexican border, the whole 9. I mean, we really had Canada, United States, and Mexico covered. And we were making real headway. We made noise with FMCSA. They knew who Nadra was. You had OOIDA kind of dancing on their toes because they weren't sure what we were about to do. And you had a couple other smaller groups that were forming that basically sat on the sidelines and waited because Nadra was making a lot of noise. The problem was the interior. It wasn't the exterior, it wasn't the truck drivers, it wasn't the professionals that were backing us, that were supporting us, that we were bringing together. It was the interior. The interior started moving away from the goal or goals that were set by me in the beginning and started moving toward the money. We had 1 or 2 in the group that wanted to make Nadra their #1 financial income source. We had 1 or 2 more that wanted to switch and go to apparel and hats and t-shirts, and we can do a different t-shirt every month and la-da-da-da-da. And before long, there were more arguments inside our meetings based on money than there were about bringing the truck drivers together again. And we were making a difference. We had 50, 60, 70,000 truck drivers that were really coming together.
Right.
And we probably could have went the distance. I can't.
Because that money is the root of all evil.
I can't work on what needs to be done if all it's about is money. If there's personal agendas, if there's money agendas, if there's financial agendas. I understand that an organization like we're building needs a financial plan. I get it. I understand that an organization as it grows needs to provide certain resources. And again, that needs a financial plan. I get it. I don't believe that an organization at startup, a grassroots startup, should be asking a single dime from anybody. I'm personally, me personally, would never follow an organization that out the door asks for donations. If they say, listen, we're starting this group and we can use your donation, you've already lost me. Because if you yourself don't financially back what it is that you're building, how do you expect me to believe in you? That's kind of the way I look at it. And you and I had this conversation before we started FOPT. And we have made it our absolute mission to do it ourselves long before we approach any other way. And now we have ideas. You and I have ideas. We've been working on them, I'm also a firm believer that Abraham Lincoln had there's a quote. Don't know it word for word. But what he says in the quote is, we will walk the same path side by side as long as we're walking the same path. The instant that you veer off, I'm going to continue walking my path. You can walk yours, and all I can do is hope that on the other side, you and I come back to the same path again. NADRA went way off the path. Half of them went one way, and then when they went the one way, they all scattered. I went my way. Pablo, big supporter of NADRA, he was one of us. He walked the same way I did. We just threw our hands up because they were going in a way that was going to be like OOIDA. They were going to go in a way that was going to be like every other association out there where they chased the dollar. That was what was more important, including Claiborne.
Right.
Is Claiborne a bad guy? No, he's not. I think he's been out here long enough that he's seen enough shit that he's got some shit to bring to the table. I'm not taking that away from him at all. But I think a lot of what he does is power play. It's not for the right reasons. If he did it for the right reasons, holy crap, that guy would probably be somebody that I would want to work with. But it's not about that. It's not about the right reasons.
Well, the only issue that I have is that I've ever really had with anything that he produces.
What's that?
I was just going to say the only thing that I've ever really had with any of the stuff that he kind of puts out or any of that stuff is just when he gets into the stuff that it doesn't really is going to amount to anything. You know, like he was sharing some of the stuff that was about the government, and call your congressman or call Sam Graves or, whatever the hell it was. And then, it's like, dude, look, you're going to talk to some second-year graduate for a political science degree that just graduated from Princeton or Yale or whatever university. They're going to write it down, and that's going to be the end of it. And the thing is this, even if you were to have enough people call in that you might possibly get that attention that's going, and enough people are going to be able to put together the report that says, well, we had 1,000 phone calls and it was all about, it was all truck drivers that were calling in and, they're really wanting to see a change in the hours of service regulations so that their circadian rhythm can actually, make sense. And do a full 14 and not no 11 nonsense, So even if you were to have all of them call in on that, they're going to say something to Sam, and that's going to be the extent of it because it does nothing to benefit Sam. Okay, Sam Graves is only out for Sam Graves. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to tell you why I believe what you're saying is absolute. When we ran, we did, this as well as everybody. We did because you participated. We did because you participated. We did the 10,000 toy trucks to DC. It blew up. And we had we had packages from Canada, United States, Mexico. I believe there was a couple other countries that actually sent toy trucks. Let me tell you why the phone calls won't work, why the petitions won't work. Because over 60,000 toy trucks were shipped to the front door of DOT FMCSA. Do you know what their response to that was? Their response, and
I don't think there
why
was
we
any
had to
response, if
move-
I remember right.
Yes, there was. Yes, there was. There was actually a response. They were going to trash all 60,000 toy trucks. They are literally within, I think it was like 8 or 9 city blocks from a Toys for Tots donation center. They were going to trash, I mean, literally trash all of those toy trucks that were sent in. Every one of them.
Well,
Your voice does not mean jack crap. Yet, did it make noise? Did it bring attention? It did.
right.
It showed it. The project was not about them responding. It was about bringing together the truckers to do a project together with no complaints.
Right.
And it worked. And it worked. That's the projects that you need to concentrate on. You need to concentrate on the things that a truck driver can do to stand next to the next guy or the next woman. That is what you need to focus on, not them. DC's not you're not going to get through to them. They're going to trash whatever you do. If you send in anything as an owner operator, they're going to trash it. If you send in a petition, they're going to tear it up. They don't care.
The thing I will tell you this, if you really want to look and if you care about the trucking side, you know, and you really want to watch and see what it is that the government, how they feel and care about what their constituents have to say, tune in to any one of those committee hearings. And I can tell you right now, all you have to do is you can go to Google. You just type in Senate Transportation Committee or House of Representatives Transportation Committee. It will literally take you to their website. There is a calendar of when they are going to have and what the topic is that they're going to be handling that time. If you want to see previous ones, there is they have a YouTube. And you can go watch all the previous committee meetings on their YouTube channel because that's where they put all of them after they're there so that everybody can watch them to their little heart's content. But I'm just going to tell you, if you go in, it's like right now. I think the next one and the next 4 actually, because I think they got one coming up right now just after Thanksgiving. I watched the one before Thanksgiving. And you know what it was about? It had nothing to do with transportation. It had everything to do with the government shutdown.
Yeah.
And how the government is shut down was affecting this department or that department or whatever. And the next 4 meetings are about government shutdown. They're not doing anything. And they aren't, all this is a dog and pony show, smoke and mirrors show. You can send in whatever bills, acts, it doesn't matter. There's 537 people up there that do not care a single thing about the people they represent. And that's both, if you do the math, that's literally red, blue, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, left, right, the president and his cabinet. It's like 537 people that make up all of those positions.
Okay, where was let me ask you, in history, okay, where was the biggest noise made? In history, when did the government pay attention? And
well, that would probably be the Civil War, when the South
no.
seceded.
Okay, well, yes.
We had a big old war. That's probably the largest, I would say.
The greatest gathering of people that made
or unless you're talking about the Million Man March that happened in the 60s.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, Million Man March.
He put aside race. He put aside everything, and he said it's time to everybody is created equal. You got to put it aside. that was a 1,000,000-man march. Now, what were I don't remember what the exact numbers were. I know they were higher than 1,000,000, but do I know? No.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can look it up real quick if we want to know the exact number of the Muslim man. But,
well, the whole idea is 2 truckers aren't making a difference. 3 truckers aren't making a difference. 3 million, you're starting to get somewhere. Now, when you add the 3 million in with, and listen, is it a huge task? Absolutely, it is. To get 3 million truckers to put their mindsets aside long enough to make real change, that is a job in itself. To put the mindsets of them and their families and their extended families aside to make a change, that's even bigger. We don't have a group out here until now, that cares enough about not. Well, folks, listen, if you're in here, I am Bluetooth and hands-free. I'm not going to be able to read your comments as I'm driving. I'm hoping that my CEO gets back in here and he's able to do something. He lost power at home. That's why we got cut short. I am now running this as we go. So if you really want to jump in and have a conversation, talk a little bit about what we really need to do, please get me on there. I will get you on there as best I can. As you see, I'm dealing with some not so great roads, but I'm going to do the best I can. Like I said, we are hands-free. You are up in the dash. I am not going to be able to read the comments, so jump in here and have a conversation, please just send me a request. I'll get in there. I'll get you to you as fast as I can. We were talking before we lost everything. We were kind of talking about bringing the people back together again. And what it's going to take. It's actually a very big job. It's a lot bigger than what people think it is. I have been making this statement for quite a while. Really know who you're following as far as trucking organizations. I will say this, that any trucking organization that asks you for a donation right out the door is probably not anybody that you really want to work with. If they can't self-finance their own organizations and get them off the ground and operating, and they, don't believe in their own, what they believe in, if they're not going to back what they believe in with their own pocket, it's really hard to ask people for money to do what you won't do. So pay attention to who you're following. I'm not asking you to follow us. You can make that determination all on your own. We're not about taking your money. If you for some reason actually believe in what we're doing, hey, any money that we make on TikTok is 100% going toward a trucking relief fund. We don't get nothing out of it. It's being designed as we speak. We have a lot of loopholes that we need to make sure that are closed up, so we do it right and that there is full transparency with it. But we're not asking you for nothing. We just want your ear. We want to help educate. We want to help raise the bar, raise the standard of trucking associations out here. We need truck drivers to start getting a new mindset. Not so easy to do. Actually, it's darn difficult, especially if you've got 25, 30, 40 years out here. It's hard to change your mindset, to put away your petty grievances with those that you park next to all the time, so you can stand shoulder to shoulder to get something done. But I believe it can still be done. I believe there's enough courage and enough faith left in this country that I believe we can get it done. Folks, listen, like I said, I'm driving. I am Bluetooth. I am hands-free. You are up in the dash. I am not going to be able to kind of answer questions unless you're actually in the live feed. So if you want to jump in here, let me know. I'm kind of watching it a little bit, and ask some questions. If you got questions, please don't be afraid to ask them, okay? Don't be afraid to, hit with the hard questions. I'll give you 100% truth. That's all we're about. And we'll take it from there. Otherwise, I'm kind of standing by until my CEO gets back in here and we're able to do something a little bit more and a little bit better for you. A little bit about the Federation, or the Federation of Professional Truckers, so that you know. We are a self-funded organization, which means we are funding out of our own pockets. We have 3 owner-operators. We have one that is a small carrier. All of us have over 25 years of driving experience. We also have a company driver, Lily Garcia. Or Lily Rodriguez, sorry. Gracious, I'm getting Lily and Pablo mixed up. She's a company driver, but she's been out here almost 30 years too. So we've got company, we've got owner-operator. Right now I am currently leasing with a very small company with a very good contract. And we also have the small carrier. So we've got a lot of the trucking industry as far as types of truck drivers covered. We are going to be looking for more. Those experienced, knowledgeable, without a personal agenda. We need people who are actually going to stand for the trucking industry and all the people that we serve, being that we are a service industry. We've got to look at not only bringing the brotherhood and the sisterhood back, raising the bar on that. We need to raise the bar on professionalism. We need to raise the bar on service. We need to raise the bar on education, and not just for the schools that are out here that need improvement, but also education of the owner-operators who are just starting out that might not know what it actually takes to be an owner-operator. That's a lot of information that you need. If you're looking at being a small fleet carrier, there is information you need. If you're looking at expanding your horizons into being a brokerage, as well as a small fleet carrier or as a owner-operator, there is information that you need. We have a lot in the trucking community that have no retirement plan. If you actually go to our webpage, www.wethefopt.org, you'll actually see there's a article in there that you can start utilizing to help build your financial planning. These are important things that you need to know as a truck driver, so that, when you hit that 30-year mark or whenever your mark is, you can actually retire and enjoy what's left of your years that you've sacrificed. We can do better. Trucking organizations need to do better. We need to stop feeding off of our own. We need to help them, lift them up, shouldn't matter whether you're owner, operator, regional, or local. There should be one organization that you can look at and know that there's no personal gain there. There's no personal agendas. It's just about the professional trucker, and that's a very hard thing to have. There are very few of us in this world left that don't care as much about self as community. But here at FOPT, I believe we've got a very good crew that cares more about the community than they do about self. We're not going to go down without swinging. We're not going down without a fight. This is what we believe in, guys. Men and women, ladies, gentlemen, any one of you that's on the road, this is what we believe in. That we're not going to just keep allowing things to transpire, but we also need to hold accountability on every aspect and every end. And this is going to get some negative feedback, because the accountability is not just for FMCSA or Department of Transportation. It's not just for the ATA. It's not just for OOIDA. It's not just for the 501c3 organizations out there. But we need to hold self-accountability as far as professionalism out here on the road. And that means us ourselves. We need to look at the truck drivers and raise the bar. People, these communities that we serve, drive by the interstate, they get off and on these ramps and they're trashed. Now, is that all us? No. It is a pretty big percentage of it? Yes. We need to stop, tossing pee bottles, and if you all know what a buffalo bag is, and, those things need to find their way to the trash properly. You need to be able to help your fellow truck driver when you're at a truck stop, instead of taking your phone out and filming them for the next 45 minutes while they try to back in because they're tired or they're new. Everybody knows that a new driver is skittish. We've all been there. You get nervous. You want to get it in that, backed in so that nobody laughs at you, but it ain't an easy job the first time, a couple times out by yourself. You're a little nervous. You can be an older truck driver, 10, 15, 20, 30 years out here. And if you've had a real rough day, that back end might be a little tight and you might need just a little bit of help to get in there. We got to pick each other up. And we've got to stop with the videos out here where we're knocking each other down. It shouldn't matter right now, sex, origin, religion. We got to stop the internal attacks and the internal division long enough to make real positive change. You boost the bar of professionalism, you get a new standard of professional truck driver. You boost the bar of education, you get a professional truck driver that can come over here and from anywhere learn the language, understand it enough to be able to operate inside our country and be able to take care of their family. We've got to look at more positive answers than the attacks on one another that's out here. And that's just bottom line. If you're one of those ones that you can put your old mindsets aside long enough to make real change, then welcome. We're not going to do a shutdown. So if you believe in shutdowns, this ain't the place for you. We're never going to do that. A shutdown affects thousands of people, and it's not just inside the industry, it's our communities, it's our parents, our grandparents, our children, our grandchildren. They all feel the pinch anytime that somebody else shut down. The consequences that reach into the communities are devastating. A shutdown will not work. Not to mention there are, you can guarantee the government has a plan. You shut down too many trucks, they're going to bring in the military, they're going to haul the stuff themselves. It's going to, all you're doing is hurting yourself, your families, and the families around you. So, stop with the shutdown nonsense. We don't need shutdown. What we need is a rebirth of community. Now, I'm not going to use the word unity because unity is used as a sales pitch and used as a sales pitch on every front from any organization that has ever had anything to do with trucking. They preach unity, they preach unity, they preach unity. Go look at their money flow, go look at their cash flow, go look at what they did versus what they expect you to do. You have to look at the entire picture. You cannot be led by feelings, anger, disapproval. That you have to put all that aside and look at who you're following. Don't send your money out free willy-nilly to people who say, well, I'm going to bring all the truck drivers together. Nobody's done it in 70 years or longer. Nobody's ever brought the entire trucking community together. It's a near impossibility. And the reason being because it's so divided. You have the owner-operators, OOIDA, that stand for owner-operators. You have nobody that really stands for the company driver, with the exception of maybe the Teamsters on occasion. So you have so much division out here, and some of these groups have actually put division out here purposely, but yet don't stand on what they say. And yes, I know we're running on and on, but if you follow along, you'll see this all leads. The ATA has been preaching for years, there's a driver shortage. There's no driver shortage. There's a driver shortage for their trucks. OOIDA has been preaching for years that they stand for the owner-operators and the independents inside the continental United States, yet owner-operators and independents are going out of business by the hundreds and thousands a year because of financial difficulties, because of not enough education on what they actually need. You have lease operators that are being taken advantage of regularly. The OOIDA is sitting on almost $80 million in assets. If OOIDA was actually about the owner-operators and the independents, they would have created a fund that did not require you to be a member to actually be able to seek some kind of help with. They haven't done so. ATA is not about the company driver. They're not about the truck driver on the road. They're not even about the professional truck driver. They are about those members that pay a membership fee, which is absolutely extravagant, or it's excessive, sorry. They have to pay this excessive membership fee in order to even get the services, because you got to have a sign-in. You can't have a sign-in until you pay a membership fee. An owner-operator would pay anywhere between $400 and $600 a year to be a member of the ATA. Honestly, it's not worth it. They're not about the truck drivers out here. We have no one really out here that's about professional truck drivers. All of them, local, regional, OTR, the owner-operators, the independents, the company truck drivers. There's not one group, owner-operators, the independents, the company truck group that represents them all. Speaks on behalf of all of them, signing to as many of them as they possibly can. Not one. What they are is divided. You have Hispanic trucking associations. That's great. It's wonderful. But they're divided from the rest of the groups. You have women in trucking divided from the rest of the groups. You have, you can go on, and the more you look at it, the more you see division, and a lot of these trucking associations are actually creating the division. You add in the fact that you have ATA and FMCSA, Department of Transportation, and several other organizations over top of trucking that are putting in their division lines, and we are divided on 1,000 fronts. 1,000 fronts. And they do this all for a reason. It's all designed for a reason. Hold on one sec. Let's see if what we got in here.
What's
Got
up?
somebody coming in. Howdy, howdy.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Welcome to PT. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
So, the ATA isn't nothing but mega carriers.
That's well, it's not even mega carriers. It's a conglomerate of CEOs and COOs. When you look at
Yeah.
it, it's more white collar individuals. That's all it is. But they've also have their tentacles spread out across all 48 continental states,
Yeah.
and they've got and now they've actually got the lead chairperson or the lead chair, because they've got one of their own sitting on as the lead chairperson of the FMCSA. So they've actually achieved their ultimate goal, which is basically total control of the FMCSA, as well as having their support all 40 states, all 40.
The FMCSA was created for ATA. It's a revolving door for ATA.
FMCSA was created to replace the ICC, which was banished and put out of business by the actual government because of the depth of corruption. But the fact is that ATA has had their hands into every major oversight committee that oversees the trucking industry. They've been the puppet master for the last 90 years.
Yep. Along with the TIA and IANA.
Absolutely agree. And a whole lot more. It goes a lot deeper.
Yeah, it does.
Like I said, they've got...
There's about 30 other associations that we found.
Well, you've got 30 different... You've got a lot of different associations, not including the fact
And
that
they're all
literally
for the white
sitting
collar.
They're sitting in every state capital across the United States. Every state capital.
Yeah.
And you can't beat people like ATA with 5 truck drivers. You can't beat people like ATA by going to Washington, D.C. You can't beat people who have been playing the game for 100 years. You have to play a different game. You have to. If they're playing chess,
We are
you've
playing
got to
a
play
different
Monopoly.
game. But if they're playing chess, you gotta play 3D chess.
You've got to change the game. If you're not changing the game,
Yeah.
it's not working. There's too much going on. That's been going on. It's been going on for decades inside the trucking industry. You have too many associations with their fingers in the pot. You have too many private groups that have their fingers into the trucking policies. There's no way truckers
Hey, what are you doing there, Hot Rod? Practicing to be Santa Claus or what?
I don't think he's coming in very well.
No. I don't know. I don't remember where he said he was going today.
Well, it wasn't in North Dakota. Now I've got her.
Your phone's breaking up real bad, Matt. Gotta love technology. Just reading through some of the comments, Deb Dills is right. The level of professionalism has declined greatly.
Yes, it has.
You know, I call the industry schmucks with trucks anymore because that's about what it is.
That's the truth of it.
And especially during the C era, everybody thought they could make $1 million. So we ended up with an influx of schmucks with trucks.
We were at a truck stop 3 days ago. I had Sheila with me. Pulling out of the truck stop and happened to look over in the rearview mirror, the side mirror, just out of habit. And I had to stop the truck, and I looked at her. I said, "Holy crap!" She said, "What?" I said, just look out the window right now." I'm not kidding you. There were 9 1-gallon urine bottles completely full, just sitting on the side of the road. And I'm going, "Yep, there it is. That's it. If I took a picture right now, that'd just say it all."
Now, where'd she go?
I don't know. I think I lost her. Well, if you're just getting here, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FOPT, Federation of Professional Truck Drivers. I don't know how well I'm coming in. I am Bluetooth and hands-free. We are driving tonight, trying to make up some time and get down to Texas. If you want to come have a conversation, please just hit the add button and we'll get you in here. Seems like a pretty quiet Saturday night, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Everybody's eating turkey leftovers and going to bed early. Be a good night for it.
So, how do
Well,
you think that this is going to change?
you got to
How
start
do
with
we
a
get
plan.
trucking?
You got to start with a plan, and the beginning of the plan. I mean, everything's got to start off with the people. It's all the people. If you don't start by helping people educate, and that's a big one. You got to help educate. You got to let them know what to watch for, what not to watch for. You know
Yeah.
as well as I do, we have several. I don't even know how many, what the total is right now, but you have close to 100 different trucking associations, and over the last 20 years, you've had hundreds that say they want to make the change, but they put the vision out there. It's like a really bad preacher. Preacher will, they preach what they believe the message should be and not what the reality really is, or what's not written right there in front of their face. You need to put all the effort into changing mindsets. That has got to be the biggest and most challenging thing for anybody to do. You can't use anger, you can't use feelings, you can't sit there and point at the broker. You can't point at drivers and say it's all their fault. You can't point at FMCSA, Department of Transportation, OIDA, all the different oversight committees. You can't point at all of them and say it's just their fault. When you start pointing out one and saying it's their fault, you're utilizing feelings and emotion to basically put together a mob. It's not off education. It's not off of anything else. There's always an agenda behind creating a mob. Back in the old days when you created a mob, it was basically to end somebody's existence. Here today, it's utilized for monetary gain. So you utilize feelings, emotion. You point at right now, broker transparency. Broker transparency is the new thing everybody's upset about. Well, okay, honestly, I get it. I'm a truck driver. I'm out here. I would love to know something, at least what the percentage is. I don't care about anything else. Tell me what your percentage is. If you can tell me what your percentage is, I'm a happy man. With the people I pull for, I know what that is. But people are using that as a foothold in the trucking community to get those people who are angry at the brokerages for lack of transparency. And they're using that foothold to gain a financial, monetary backing. Okay, there's, accountability has to go everywhere. How
Yeah,
do you hold a
it does.
broker accountable if the truck driver himself or herself isn't being held accountable? If the truck driver is mistreating the broker or mistreating the shipper or receiver or trashing the property of the shipper or receiver, why should the truck driver be able to point a finger at anybody else if they can't take the acceptance or accept the responsibility for their own actions? So until we improve that, and until we can get this mindset out of our way that, somebody from Eastern India is no different from me. Every one of us needs to make a paycheck. Every one of us needs to be able to feed our families, put a roof over their heads, provide for them. Do some of these folks that are over here on these visas need education? Sure they do. Absolutely. I think some of them can really use a class or an English class or two. Is that doable? Yes, it is. There's actually a very easy way to do that. So why do you hate on somebody? Because they're a little different? Do some of the things that some of these individuals do in their truck, are they a little on the oddball side? Absolutely. But has anybody taken the time to understand why they do what they do? or educated them and said, hey, listen, you know, and I'm not saying this is a fact because I've never been in one of their trucks. But if you're cutting a hole in the floor of your truck and using that as a portable toilet, somebody needs to walk up to them and say, listen, this is our, you know, the truck stops, the travel centers, these are our homes. You can't be doing that here. It's an education thing. It's all an education thing, not a hate thing, not a disgust thing, not a difference of separation. It is an education. We're not over there. If we were over there, maybe that's acceptable over there. They're over here. It's not acceptable here. We don't accept that here. So we need to change all of this. And it has to start within the trucking community first. And that means raising the standard and the bar of professionalism. Then once you raise that bar, people have a different mindset. They're seeing things differently. They're not being taken advantage of for their money that they're making. They're not being taken advantage of for membership fees and dues and all this other junk. Their eyes are open. Now they can start putting aside differences and making real change. Now, there are 1,000 policies that are outdated. We don't need them changed. We just need them removed. The ones that we do need to change are the hours of service. We need to look at it. You know, FMCSA doesn't have the right to sit there and say, well, we're never going to do anything with hours of service. And you are controlled no different by the rest of the government.
They're actually looking into it. You know that, right?
I know they are now.
Yeah.
But they weren't.
Yeah.
So, you know, and this might be one of those, and we've got to look at it. Is this one of those little deals where they're doing some just to appease the trucking community to get them to shut up?
Nope.
Is this going to be like giving a crying 5-year-old an ice cream cone just to keep them quiet? Is that what this is? Because if that's what this is, then we're going to call you on it because there's more that needs to be done. There needs to be a complete overhaul. And one of those overhauls is the ATA and the ATRI, which is owned by the ATA, no longer has any influence and any influx on any decision made by the FMCSA or Department of Transportation. You're done. We will go to independent studies from colleges and universities. And if we find out that the ATA is sending large donations to those colleges and universities to get the results that they need, then we'll call them out again. You need to eliminate the people that have had control that are just sitting on 6-figure paychecks every year. That aren't helping the industry. We have small carriers. The whole mega carrier push and ATA's push about the driver shortage. It's not a driver shortage for the community or our country. It's a driver shortage for their trucks because they mistreat and mishandle the people that work for them. So those people are biting their tongue and buying their time until they get their 1 or 2 years of OTR in, and they're going over to small fleet carriers where they're getting treated better, such as Laura that was just in here. She's got a small fleet. Yeah. She takes very good care of her truckers. She respects them. She treats them well. That's the kind of company that truck drivers are looking for. So the mega carriers aren't going to retain. It's not a driver shortage. It's an accountability shortage. The mega carriers and the CEOs won't take account for the fact that they mistreat and use up their truck drivers to the point where there's nothing left to them after 2 years. They suck them into, lease contracts with $50,000, $60,000 balloon payments after 3 or 4 years. Promising them, you're going to make $2,500 a week. Yeah, you might for the first 12 weeks. Because after 12 weeks, if you don't do exactly what they tell you to do, when they tell you to do it, under what they call no force dispatch, and you decide, oh, listen, I've been out here I've been out here 8 weeks. I'm going to take a week off and go spend time with my family. They move you to the bottom of the list, and before you know it, you're not making a paycheck. You owe them money. There is a pattern. It's intentional.
It is.
People are starting to wake up, and we need more education of this. And the more education that we can put out there, the more help that we can provide. I just talked about it a little bit ago. How many truck drivers actually have a retirement plan? I'm 25 years in and have just started my retirement plan. Just started, and I'm 52. I never thought about retirement. As far as I'm concerned, I still really don't concern myself with retirement. But for those that do, that want to be out of a truck after 25, 30 years, how many of them have any knowledge on what to do and how to do a retirement plan? Very few. They rely on a 401k if your employer offers it. If they don't offer it, they have no retirement plan. They need education. Repairs on a truck. Most of these people aren't taught even they're not even allowed to pop a hood at most of these new truck schools because the mega carriers don't want them to know. So how do you know how to fix what's going on with your rig? How do you pre-maintenance it? Education. English courses. We have, maybe 500,000 English teachers across the continent of the United States. You're telling me we can't put 5, 6, 7 of them together and build a small group of English teachers that will offer an English class for anybody who needs it, that at the end of it gets a certificate of completion stating that they can read and write up to a 4th or 5th grade level, which is more than enough to understand signs, understand basic instruction.
Yeah, but I don't think they should be driving a truck until then.
Well, but you can include that with the actual truck school. That can be included. But they're not. They're and listen, again, this goes back to the history of the country.
Yeah.
Rich people have used immigrants from day one to do the low-end work for the cheaper rates. And they're doing it now. An H-1B and an H-2B visa needs a sponsor signer. Somebody that's going to sponsor that visa. Somebody is signing those H-1B and H-2B visas for these people to come over here and work. Somebody is backing, is pushing the immigrants, the undocumented, or the ones without green cards, undocumented. They're pushing them through the system. How are they doing this? Who's doing it? We're seeing, an influx of owner-operators out here in trucks, I see them with Amazon all the time. I see more of these individuals driving their own trucks, pulling Amazon trailers than I've ever seen in my life. There are more immigrants than there are anything else pulling Amazon trailers.
Yeah, there is.
How is it that these individuals are getting Class 8 trucks? It's because the dealership doesn't really care about whether you can speak English or not. They care about the sale. So you got to look at it. The picture gets bigger and bigger, and when you look at it, the pond gets deeper and deeper. There's more than just broker transparency.
There is, and that's why that's not the only thing that we've pushed. We've pushed a lot of different things.
Listen, I'm not saying that you're just pushing broker, only broker transparency.
Yeah.
But there's got to be, you got to start off on the educational level. You've got to get, enough. You can't point at one person when you yourself aren't doing it right. As an individual, I'm not saying you personally, I'm saying as an individual. If your mindset isn't at the point where it doesn't matter if that guy's wearing a turban or that guy's washing his feet or, this guy over here might not speak English so well or that guy over there doesn't speak English at all, and you start recognizing them as truck drivers just taking care of their families. Once you hit that mindset and you start implementing the educational side, you start seeing the division lines and the chasms that have been put into the trucking community for generations start to go away. And people start shaking hands and talking and holding doors for one another again. The community becomes better. Now you may start making real change, but you ain't gotta blame somebody. You help them find the answer. Those that need an English class. Okay, listen. We know that the Brain Bible, it's been in there since 1930s, early 1940s. You have to have an English. You got to be able to English proficient. I mean, it's been in there. So if it's been in there that long, we need to read. That's just the gist of it. No matter what ATA says or anybody else says. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to offer you some English classes. You are mandated to participate in. If you miss more than one class, immediately.
You're breaking
off the
up.
road. That's their families. It could be an extended family. You can't starve a family, but you can institute an English proficiency which will allow them to immediately start learning the language. Those that are going into the school, you establish a automatic. This is a 6-month to a year deal. You don't get your license until you can read and write at this level, whatever that level is. It could be 4th grade, it could be 5th grade. I haven't sat down and really looked at grade levels versus what they actually need to know out here to figure out the grade level. I would say it's probably close to 4th or 5th. But you can institute that now. You need to take the driving schools, take them away from the mega carriers. They need to be accredited schools where a proper English teacher is teaching the English class, and there are proper classes in place to understand what trucking is about. You need to institute all of this. But you got to give them, you got to help them find the answers, not point and just accuse. And that's what a lot of the industry does right now, is point, accuse, get angry. And then certain individuals see the anger and utilize that anger to create some group and basically monetize off of it. They end up walking away with, thousands of dollars in their pocket, but nothing gets done. All they did was keep you pissed off long enough to keep pulling in the money. We need real solutions and real answers. We don't need, we don't need what we've got out here.
Yeah, I agree. There needs to be accountability, structure, organization.
There he is.
By organization.
What's up?
By organization, I mean being organized. Working
I absolutely
together.
agree. One organization ain't going to do it.
No.
We just, I just said this a little while ago. No one organization has ever got the entirety of the trucking community. It won't work.
This is what I tell everybody. It's not going to be one person. It's not going to be one organization, not one group. It's going to take all of us to work together to make change, to make reform.
But you're absolutely right. You got to add one thing in there, though. Everyone that's a part of that gathering can have no personal agendas, can have no financial agendas. It has to be for the betterment of the community only. If there is a financial, a personal agenda, anything that's attached to it that they gain, you've already lost. You just let the devil in the back door, and it's not going to go nowhere. So you've got to look at
That depends on what it's for. You have to look at what they're actually offering and what they're actually charging for.
Actually, no. You shouldn't be offering or charging for anything.
If they are
providing
providing a service, if they're providing a service, right, an actual service that benefits the industry and that can help change, because it's going to take money to actually operate that system. It's going to take money to pay the people to operate that system.
Yeah, I agree with that. But there's also 101,000 different ways to achieve that financial goal.
Yeah, there
The thing
is.
of it is we're doing it right now without anybody's for our own.
And that's the thing, and here's the
I
thing.
don't need
I
anybody's
agree
t-shirt sales.
I agree that there has to be a financial plan. We have one. We have a financial plan. But you have to do 90% of the work to bring people to you to help with the other 10.
Yeah.
You right now, there's an organization that's out there that is asking for donations and has asked for donations since get-go. From get-go. And this is not an uncommon thing. This is a very common thing. Oh, we're going to make all these changes. We're going to make, we promise this, we promise that. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're going to, we're going to go after the brokers.
Yeah,
we're going to
they're not even set up as a non-profit
Okay,
or
hold on a
an
minute.
actual
But they're-
entity.
But they immediately went to taking money from the truck drivers to back their own, what they're supposed to be doing on their own. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is
Yeah,
they couldn't
it
even
is.
they couldn't believe in themselves long enough to financially support what they believe.
Can you hear me?
in, But they
That,
want you
that's
to
exactly
back
why.
it. I got you, bud.
That's exactly why I did
Okay,
the
well,
video
can I say something?
that I did.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, OG.
So let's talk. We're going to talk about personal agendas. Let's talk
It's hard to hear you too. It sounds
You
like
just
you're
went
far
away.
away. Yeah.
I went away.
Yeah, you're like way
Yeah,
off
like-
in the distance, man.
Yeah, like
Hold
you're
on, let
away
me
from
change
the
out a
mic or
different
something.
Bluetooth. Buddy, I just lost all fucking power throughout the house.
I know you did, brother. When you walk away from your phone, it sounds like you just ran away.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so let's define this personal agenda. This isn't just a matter of personal agenda that has to do with donations or seeking donations or t-shirt sales. Personal agenda donations also accounts for the monetization of social media that they're doing. Because I know a crap ton of creators.
Now you're going away again.
I'm not even away from the phone. I'm on Bluetooth.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
It keeps like fading out.
yeah.
Now you're back.
What about? All right. So, what I'm saying is when it comes to the financial side and the donations and stuff, it also has to do with monetization of social media. Because there's a crap ton of creators that are TikTok truckers, if you will, that are making 10, 15, 20 grand a month off of their social media, but they're not doing a damn thing for the truckers. Okay? So let me just throw this one here out at you because I put it out last night. I'll put it out again today. 100% of any monetization that we get at FOPT goes into a trucker relief fund. 100%. There is nothing that we get personally. It goes, we have a 501c4. We have the trucker relief fund. And that relief fund is to help truckers that are out here that if they like lose their job because the company goes belly up and they shut off their fuel cards, that's how that happens. You know. So also it's going to be a fully transparent fund for a final mile. Whereas a lot of people don't have that. There's not a full transparency. See, that's the other side of the personal agenda that everybody doesn't talk about. Because the money that they say they're here for the truckers, but the money that they make on social media goes straight to their pocket. So by them bringing in this emotional bullshit that they keep trying to push with call your congressman, and we're going to write 19 different fucking bills here that ain't going to go nowhere, and we're going to stir up the drama and everything else. Yeah, that doesn't, you know what I mean? That don't work. That's a personal agenda. If they're on there and they're not a 501c4 and all they're doing is flapping their gums and getting money back off of fucking TikTok, then that's a personal agenda. And I'm going to tell you right now, every one of them out there that's getting monetized, that's what they're doing. They're not a 501c3. They're not a 501c4. None of that shit. They get on there, they flap their gums, they talk about fucking different problems, and all they do is stir up bullshit to try to bring more traction to their page. That all that does is put more money in their pocket and does not a damn thing for the truckers of America.
Yeah.
And that's Bob Murphy, that's Charles Claiborne, that's fucking Vince. I'm gonna name them right now. I know Dave McCowan's also getting fucking money off of it because of his follower count. The more clicks, likes, shares, and fucking saves that they do, the longer they're on live reading off of a fucking ChatGPT document, and the more shit they get from that, the more money goes in their pocket. So yeah, all the ones that are out here running their mouths talking about they're here for truckers, no, they're here for their fucking pocketbook.
Federation hasn't made a single promise to anybody, not one. And there's a reason why we haven't made any promises to anybody, and that's simply because we're starting with, we've got to build this ourselves. Number two, we need to educate. We need to educate. We need to help people understand what they're involved in, who they're following. And not only that, but we need to educate them to help them understand how to prepare for their future and how to put aside the differences. Okay, education's a big deal. The more we're on here, the more we educate, the more we open eyes, the bigger this is going to get. People will start to understand. People will start to understand, and education is a big deal. Promises don't come until after you've done the work and you know what you can do and what you can't do. We can do a trucker relief fund. We will do it. And not just, it's not hard to actually do, it's just making sure that you've got full transparency and a lot of the loopholes are cleaned up. Education is something that we are doing and we can do. It's not a hard thing to do. It's just talking and putting the truth out there and dispensing with all the misinformation and the feelings side of trucking, which we all have. It's putting it aside. We're seeking easy answers or easy solutions. Not easy answers, easy solutions
I will have good
to the problems that everybody's pointing a finger at. And monetizing off of. You know, we're doing all of this and we're going to keep proceeding forward just like you are. You're doing the research, you're doing the background, you're
a bunch
educated.
of attachments, and I use my
Education is where all this begins.
like mine are dying.
Erase it. It goes back to what we've been talking about. Erase the divisions. Get rid of division
Wash your hands.
and build bridges and start shaking hands and put away the differences. Because nothing gets done until that itself gets done. Nothing changes.
But see, this is the thing. You talk about differences, though. This is where I have issues of when we're going to talk about the differences and stuff. It's kind of hard to put aside differences and join together with groups that are literally out here.
We just lost you again, brother.
The generator's on.
I said it's kind of hard to put aside differences when
I was like, oh no.
I have issues with these other groups out here for their own personal gain.
I was like, man.
Because if they're not out here for their own personal gain,
Because like,
let's put the money in the trucker relief
it
fund.
dawned on me that it was just the others, and I'm like,
But you're not going to see that
and
happen
you say that
because they care more about putting money in their own pocket than helping truckers. That's why that's where I've got to kind of draw the line on getting together with others and bringing this togetherness that everybody wants to start talking about.
I was
But I don't agree with
gonna
it.
be like, what?
Well, getting together with
Why do
others.
I want to bring traction to somebody's fucking page that all it does is literally just put more money in their pocket for their own personal gain?
Oh well, no. You see, that's. I agree with you. We agree with you. Anybody that's talking right now agrees with you. It's not about.
No, I did not.
It's those with the exact mindset that we have that we can work with, not those that we see that we, you know. I wouldn't work with anybody with a personal agenda ever. If you've got a personal goal, you want to sit as a senator, you want to sit as a governor, you want to sit on a seat of power, I'm not working with you. You have an agenda, you're going to use somebody to get there. If you have the agenda of a new home or, you know, an 8-bedroom mansion, I'm not working with you. You have a financial agenda.
We know.
You need all the toys, bells, and whistles that life can offer you. Again, I'm not working with you. But if you've got the mindset where the community is more important than self, that the communities that we serve are more important than self, then I want to hear what you got to say.
That's good.
Well, the thing of it is this,
Behind him.
and all that I've heard over the last since fucking, I don't know, March, every one of them claim that they're for the trucker, and at the same time, all they're wanting to do is go to Washington, write bills that aren't gonna fucking go anywhere, or increase their following on social media for increased monetization.
Well, and we know that is a ploy. It's always been a ploy.
Right.
You
But what I'm
you
saying
snap a
is,
picture
where
of
am I
yourself,
going?
or you snap a
As the
picture of
CEO,
yourself.
I
Yeah.
was thinking about it though. As the CEO of FOPT, if I'm going to sit there and reach out to some other group
I think I heard him out.
to have them and try to create a joint movement here. Every one of them that's out there, I already know all this bullshit.
They're all cute.
So where do I go to? Because I'm going to tell you, James Lamb and the SBTC is the most crookedest fucking lobbyist you'll ever meet in your life. If you think that he ain't going to stab you in the back as soon as he can to get up another level, he's going to. If you think you're going to go to OIDA or the ATA, no, they're not going to help you.
Oh no!
If you're over here and you're pulling in freaking 10 to 20 grand a month on freaking TikTok or Facebook or YouTube, and all you're doing is using it so that you can do an in-frame every year on your fucking truck, or replace your rear ends or whatever you're doing, or you're increasing the size of your house, you're not, yeah. If all you're doing is telling people to go call their congressman, when all you're going to get, like I said at the beginning of the other line, power, all you're going to do is write this shit down and use it as a photo opportunity.
Right.
We have, if I want to reach out, I gotta have like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, right now, everybody's gung ho on either going to Washington, writing bills, calling your congressman, or increasing their monetization. The four things we don't want to have. We've already talked.
Who's got all the women in the background?
That would be me, because we have everybody in the house.
Gotcha.
Had to hook up the generator, bro. I just went to, fired up the generator.
Yeah, I don't think your Bluetooth's actually connecting with your mic.
Remember I shoved him in your face?
Yeah.
Your mic's coming
I
off
think you're on
of the
speaker.
phone.
He's like never done anything.
Oh.
Never.
Well, here. Can you hear me better now?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, well, then
Yep.
apparently my mic isn't working, so I'll go sit in the other room and we won't bother anybody. Wonderful. Bro, if it ain't one thing, it's another to me. If it ain't one thing, it's a fucking another for me right now. I swear to God.
Listen, I am 100% agreeing with you, brother. We're not working with OIDA. We're not working hand in hand with ATA, FMCSA, Department of Transportation. Those that are monetizing off the truck drivers, we're not working with. We're not working with somebody who's going to have a personal agenda and putting themselves into a seat of power, or anybody that says, I'm going to Washington, D.C. And you go ahead, enjoy yourself. I'll call you out when you post your video. I'll do a stitch and call you out on it. But there are truck drivers, there are those in the industry, whether it be small fleet carrier, whether it be small-time brokers, whether it be a professional truck driver. There are people out here that don't have that personal me agenda, that are really wanting to do something for the industry and the communities. And those are the people that I want to talk to. I don't care about the rest of those.
Right. Well, like last night. I mean, I could deal. Cisco and I, we agree on it. For the most part, he's literally like, yep, 100%. Yeah. He has the same mindset. So.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the groups, is what I'm talking about.
No.
Because that's the one thing that everybody's talking right now is let's bring the groups together.
No.
Well, okay, for one, Laura in our group, old Miss Beth Dutton over there, already showed that Carriers United, the fucking brokerage, they've had their authority revoked. And we're still trying to push to bring truckers over there and carriers over there to sign on with them. That's not kosher to me. If your brokerage authority is revoked, son, you should not be advertising to have carriers sign up with you. It don't work that way. No. Sorry. And if you're bad enough that all of Landstar has said they won't work with you anymore because of some unscrupulous shit you've done, yeah, I don't need to work with you either.
Right.
That once again, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the individuals that are out here that are sitting there wanting to see something happen because of the bullshit that's been going on for so many years.
Right.
But if you can't wrap your head around the fact that, you're not going to go to DC, You're not going to get a congressman to change your mind, not at the federal level. You can probably get somebody at state level, you know. State level and local level is where you got to start at. Hell, they proved that back in the 70s, and then they proved it again here in the 90s and 2000s by getting the gay marriage legalized.
The gay marriage, marijuana,
You know.
there's been a lot of things
Yeah.
that have been pushed through.
Yeah, well, Mary Jane ain't been pushed through yet, but it's probably going to in the next couple of years. They have 27 states, I think, that have legalized it recreationally. You know, it's basically going to be the same thing that happens with the state on like gay marriage. You know, it's because the government doesn't give two shits about us. They give two shits. You know, if you think that they're going to care about you because they shook your hand and took a picture with you, no, that's a photo op for them to get reelected.
Yep.
Straight up.
Yep.
You know.
It is.
Oh, I took a
So-
picture with this, you know, this guy or this gal that's got 20, 25 years in, you know. Wonderful, wonderful woman, you know. She's worked hard all her life and she's built her business and everything, and I'm here to do something. Meanwhile, they're probably talking shit about her while they're drinking bourbon in their little social club.
Either that, they called the IRS and they're taking everything from her next day anyway.
Right. So, yeah.
So here's the thing. So you guys already know that we work with James Lamb, SBTC, but we work with others as well. Now, with certain bills on the table right now, there's a lot of them that are not for the truckers. 5688 is one of them. I've done the research on all, like a lot of these bills that's for the trucking industry. The only ones that actually make any sense that's actually going for the trucking industry is 3608, 2991, 2114, and the new one that Taylor just put in, it's 6388, I believe. It just got put on the table last week. You put all four of those bills together, plus the amendments that we gave to James Lamb, you gotta set law. There's no loopholes in it.
If it passes, that's the whole problem. And you see, what you're doing is great, but until you get the entire industry to back it and support it, let's say
that's exactly where the petitions come in, because
Petitions don't mean
there's
nothing.
over.
They really don't. Look, buddy, I'm going to tell you right now. You can go look up HR 25. It was literally
There's
put in
19 sponsors just on Connor's Law.
I understand
from
that, and
senators.
they've been trying to pass that shit for 7 fucking years. Connor's Law has been on the books for 7 years, and they ain't done
Actually,
a damn
only
thing about
4.
it. No, it
No,
literally started
3.
in 2018. No, it started in 2018, and then it's been rewritten, I think, 4 or 5 times since 2018.
Connor's
Law
is
is
the one
still
where
been-
the guy got shot and killed outside of the receiving area.
Connor's, no, it isn't. Connor's Law
No.
is where the young kid got hit and killed on the highway. That's the Connor's Law one. It happened in 2017.
Yeah, by
I'm
28.
thinking of Ryan's. I'm thinking of
Yes.
Ryan's. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing of it
It
is
was a
this.
college kid.
HR 25 is the Fair Tax Act. And that Fair Tax Act is literally supported by 65% of America. They have done the signatures, they've done the petitions, all that shit. It was put on the books the 3rd of January of this year. And they ain't done a damn thing with it. So if you think
Because
that by them
government
putting a
is
bill in
slow.
there, no, bro, they ain't slow, dog.
It is.
They don't do shit. Let's just be honest. They don't do a damn
Yeah.
thing. Not unless it benefits them. That 5688 and all those there, all that is showmanship. 5688, yes, it's about the non-domicile all that funny stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, though, it's probably not going to go anywhere. You want to know why it's not going to go anywhere? Because they have a lawsuit right now in the Court of Appeals to stop the non-domicile rulemaking that happened. So until that court case is heard, government's not going to move on that because they have to wait and see whether or not of what direction that goes. So this is why I say most of this shit that's out here, it's not going anywhere. It's really not. It's all showmanship stuff. They're going to put it out there because it's a big hot topic right now. It's going to sit in a committee for the next 11 fucking months until the end of this Congress, and then they're going to have to resubmit the son of a bitch again the next year. Or they're going to get somebody that's going to go in there. They're going to want to go through and piggyback 19,000 things off of it. It's going to get chopped up into about a 1,000% of what it was to begin with, and that's the end of it. I mean, they literally can't even agree on Connor's Law. They can't agree on the Fair Tax Act. Hell, these son of a bitches couldn't even agree to keep the damn government open and closed it for 48 days. Which that right there, I never seen any difference. So why do we even need these assholes anyways? Because it didn't change my life.
Anything new that comes up on the table, the news puts out there, and basically it goes back to what we said earlier. It's ice cream cone for a 5-year-old that's crying. And it appeases the American people long enough for them to shut up for 5 or 6 months, and then they'll put something else out. They'll let it fall. I mean, we watched Doge come out and say that billions with a B of taxpayer dollars has been misappropriated, and in 4 months you haven't heard a word about it. The government literally pissed in every American's face and said, enjoy the rain. We just got away with it.
Pretty much.
You
Yeah.
just gave away billions of your money, and you did nothing.
And this is why this right here, though, is what I'm talking about, though. This focusing in on these bills and stuff, it goes nowhere. It does nothing. If you can't get a bill that over 65% of the country agrees with to get it out of committee because it would make the American people's lives better, according to 65% of the populace of voting age, do you think any bill that's going to maybe benefit 2 million truck drivers is going to do something? They can't even do something that's going to do something for 200 million, let alone 2 million.
It's not even just for the trucking industry, it's for the whole country.
Yeah, but think about it, though. They've got one on the books right now that repeals income tax, gift tax, and sets a national sales tax, has 65% of the populace's approval on petitions, and it's still sitting in committee and has been since the 3rd of January. That's what I'm talking about. Anything, when you're submitting bills, acts, writing all this stuff up, it's not going anywhere. It's really not. I promise you that. It's a photo op for a fucking politician.
And basically, we got to play a different game. And I get what your guys are doing with the bills, and you're trying, and there's nothing wrong with trying. Hey, I commend the fact that you're doing something. You're not even taking anything. I mean, you're not taking from the truck drivers. Their wallets aren't fucking being open to you every 15 minutes. I admire that. But there's got to be a different plan. And the only plan that I can, that me personally, is education. Education's got to be
Yeah,
first
that's
and
part of our plan
on
too.
everything.
That's what we've been putting out.
Yeah, the more you educate, the more you help the professional truck driver and get them to see more than what little is right in front of their face, the better things will get. And they will. They'll get better. I mean, when you just basically go by emotion, or you throw your hands in the air and say, I'm just going to buy out my next 5 years, and whatever happens, happens. I don't care. that mentality is the reason we're at where we're at right now. And not just the industry, but the entire country. Everybody is more concerned about self. The neighbors used to watch out after neighbors. Communities used to watch out after community. And it doesn't exist anymore. And that's a problem.
Yeah, it is. That's why I've called out the FMCSA. I've called out government. I've called out DOT. I've called out fucking OIDA, fucking ATU.
They're all organizations feeding off the industry.
Yeah. I've called out TIA several times. DAT, truck stop. They're all part of the corruption.
The thing of it is, DAT doesn't really have a dog in the fight. Okay, all they are is a load board. It's no different than bulk loads, hop loads, motive. I think Truck Stop's got one.
Trucker Path has got their own load board.
Trucker Path's got a load board. I mean, I could sit here and name off 15,000 load boards. The load boards aren't the problem. One of the problems is it's the freaking carriers not knowing, if we're going to get into the rate side of it, because that's usually what everybody is with going after the load boards, is because the broker transparency topic that wants to be hot all the time or whatever. It's not
it's the
this is the thing. It's
that
not
they put out.
Well, so
They're
this
the
is the
ones
thing.
that create
I've looked
the
at
market.
Well, no, they're not. No, they're not. I hate to tell you this, but every shipper and manufacturer out there has their own logistics department, whether it's one person or 500. And they all know what the rates are. They all know what they are going to have to do. It has nothing to do with that. That actually, all they are is just a middleman to connect a broker or shipper to a carrier. And that's all that is. You cannot blame the middleman for their connection.
Okay.
Look, if people go through and would learn their actual operating cost, if people would learn their operating cost, you wouldn't have to worry about it, because most people wouldn't be running for 60 cents a mile. Not when fuel's costing them 60 cents a mile, and that's all. And if
you
that's what they're
wouldn't even
making,
have guys running at 225 either. But
well, it all depends on what you're running. See, this is the thing. Right now, I can tell you right now, my break even is 213. Okay, that's my break even mark, 213. And yes, I have a truck payment. So I own my truck, I own my trailer, I have all my MC number. It's all me. I am a carrier.
Yeah.
But I have done things to make sure that keep my operating costs low. And this is where you need to know your operating costs, because this is the thing. To get the freight rates up, you got to get the rejection rate up.
Yeah.
But see, this is where you got to get carriers knowing their actual operating cost. And an operating cost of even a single truck carrier is all their business expenses, all their personal expenses combined, because that's no different than the driver pay. So that's, yeah. But I'm going to tell you right now, 40% of the carriers I talk to, they have no fucking clue what their actual operating expense is. I had one tell me the other day he's $1.
But
well, I know 40% of the people I talk to. This is 40% of the people I talk to, okay? Don't know their true operating cost. I literally just had one the other day tell me his operating cost was $1.25 a mile. I said, whoa, wait. Hold on. I said, you own your truck and trailer? He goes, yeah. You got a loan on them? Yeah. How much is your fuel mileage? Because you're driving a large car. Oh, it's like 4.5, 5. Okay, so it's costing you even more. It's costing you even more in fuel than it costs me. I said, do you run any kind of fuel cards or anything like that? He goes, well, I use Mud Flap. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's 40% higher than what I pay. Because I know what Mud Flap prices are. They're 40% higher than what I get with my fuel networks. that I've worked with. So I go through and I'm like, I'm doing the math on this. And I said, hold on a second, son. Between your insurance, your truck payment, and your fuel, that's $1.25 or more. He said, well, how do you figure that? Well, you're probably about 75 cents a mile on fuel. I'm sure you're somewhere around 30 cents a mile on your truck payment, and probably somewhere in the same ballpark with maintenance and insurance. I said, so that's above $1.25 there. We haven't even gotten into anything else of payments, repairs or any, I mean, what? You know what I mean? And I said, I mean, unless you live in a tent on national property that you don't have to pay rent for, how the hell are you making this? You got a phone payment, insurance, taxes, you know? He said, well, I don't pay taxes. I said, well, you pay for an accountant, don't you? Well, yeah.
In the driver app.
I'm like, well, there you go. I told him, I said, you might want to go home and write down all of your expenses and categorize them properly. But this is the problem.
He's probably closer to 230.
Look, the average right now is 275. That's the average right now. The average cost per mile in the country is $275 a mile.
If the average is 275 and you look at the average load freight right now, what, 250? Nobody's
220. 225.
220 to, yeah.
Yeah, 220 to 225 is the average load rate.
250 is a high.
That's why
Man,
90% of owner-operators are going under.
Well, but see, this is the thing.
Yep.
This is where I say, not everybody gets to come play in the NFL. If you don't know how to run a business, if you don't know how to market yourself to customers, just because you can drive a truck and you do it very well, does not mean you're going to be a good owner-operator. If you do not understand business acumen, you're not going to be a good owner-operator, because there's more to being an owner-operator than just driving a truck.
Well, that's where you've got to go work for somebody and do your 20 or 30 years. Be smart about your money. Work for a small carrier, somebody like, our Laura Gavito. You work for somebody like that, you stay with them for a lifetime. They take care of you, you take care of them, you do the best you can in driving the truck. Call it a career.
Well, and that's it. But see, this is the problem. Everybody wants rates.
Be an owner-operator.
Well, everybody wants rates out here. This is where that $5 a mile has come from, where everybody gets to play. Well, of course, everybody's going to be able to play at $5 a mile. God damn. Hell, if I was making $5 a mile on every mile, dog, I'd already have everything be paid off. Everything would be paid off. My house would be paid off. My truck, my trailer would be paid off. Dude, I'd probably have already paid everything off and sold the truck.
Dude,
just to be real honest,
because they would have jacked inflation to beat it, and you'd be just as bad off.
I'm talking about the fairy tale world of the $5 a mile. There's not going to be any inflation that's going to happen from it. There's not going to be any consumer cost that's going to happen from it. All the carriers are going to make $5 a mile, and the brokers and the shippers and manufacturers are just going to eat that shit. That's not how that works, dude. That's not how that works. You don't get to just exactly. So this is why I say not everybody gets to be an owner-operator.
Hello?
Not everybody does.
Yo, I got something to say.
Huh?
Yo bitch ass cannot be on your damn phone while you driving. What the fuck are you doing?
You can if you're Bluetooth.
Yep, there we go. He's disconnected. If he's going to get in here like that, bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am hands-free and Bluetooth equipped. I'm not reading messages. I am literally having a conversation. It's no different than a phone conversation. So if you can't figure out what a Bluetooth headset is, and you don't actually have to have the phone in your hand or visually looking at it, then I think you need to go back to grade school.
Well, you could tell that you're on the Bluetooth anyways because the phone's staying still.
Yeah, what it is he's trying to come in and it's one of those people that
Yeah,
try
I
to
know.
come in and get your live banana. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But no, this is the thing. So, but yeah, this is why I say not everybody gets to play in this game. Not everybody does. If you want to play in the game, and you need to know how to run a business. If you don't know how to run a business, don't think so.
Yo, what's
So-
up, guys? What's going on?
You drive a truck?
Yeah.
How long you been
Yeah,
driving
joined
for?
through a shared
Ain't a lot. I'm
invite.
kind of new. I've been only driving for like 3 months now.
I got you. You run
Welcome to
van, you
trucking.
run reefer.
No, I'd be like, running like animals and stuff.
Oh, you run
To
livestock.
barn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you really jumped into the deep end.
Yeah, I'm basically the goat.
That's the deep end of the pool right there. You went straight to livestock. Only 3 months in. Holy jeez.
Yeah, that usually
I also
doesn't
haul
happen.
fin boys and stuff.
What's that?
I haul fin boys and stuff. Y'all know what that is?
Yeah, I'm gonna disconnect you and have a nice day. Because I know what that is. That's about to get us bananaed.
Good gracious, man.
This is what happens.
What did Billy Kid say? I'll make you famous.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Well, oh boy, if you want, I'm going to let you switch over. I think my wife has tried calling me once or twice.
Oh, I don't know if I can switch over. So
Well, I'm going to...
it's also 10:15, so we probably ought to just call it a night.
Yeah, let's call it a night. It's been a
Yeah, I
pleasure
was about
talking
ready
to
to
you
say I
guys.
gotta jump down.
It's been a pleasure. We will catch up again later down the road.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Talk to you later, Bubba.
Talk to you later.
See ya.
Thanks for rolling with us on the new Trucking Standard, brought to you by the Federation of Professional Truckers. From our seats to the nation we serve, stay safe out there and keep on trucking.